So now for the final aspect is, so okay, now I know that I understand that in order to make $1 million, I have to sell at least 1 million books. Duh. So how do I actually write $1 million hit comic books? So that I am going to go over very briefly, because that is sort of the big mystery unknown topic, and it's complex. But I'm gonna go into like the 5 key aspects to doing that. I think the number one is genre marketing. So you're writing for a specific group that you know is going to buy it. And one of the biggest ways that people do that is they pick their tribe and they write for their tribe. And by tribe, I mean like a political market. Um, those who buy books, not just for the entertainment, but because it's also supporting the causes they care about, are often how you break out of just, break into a higher class, so to speak, of sales. You'll see this all the time. Whichever side people are writing for, the message is what people care about. They care less about the actual story and more about the message that's being pushed. And this isn't, I'm not saying this is a good or bad thing. I'm just saying it's one thing that I notice as like it's is expanding your market based upon not just story, but a specific genre. And it's not just political. That can also be something like horror that people buy not just because it's a comic book, but because they just like the horror aspect of it. This is also things like people that just like magic, and you market directly to magic. There's a lot of people that call this, the riches are in the niches, in that whenever you're not just trying to sell directly to comic fans, you're trying to sell to fans of a certain thing. You're trying to sell to people that are into gymnastics or something like that. So you write a book that's about a winning, an underdog story of a gymnastics team or something like that, or martial arts. Or so you're picking an audience and you're targeting them, and your medium happens to be comics, but you're expanding into something that's not just people that are into niche comics. You're expanding into a market that's way bigger than comics, because you're now going after anybody that's into karate or whatever. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not going to dwell on it any further. The next thing that can get you there is understanding basically memorable characters and character design. And that's if it's sort of in the same whole audience aspect, but the point I'm getting at here is, if you can come up with something that's memorable, something that's a good example of this is like Jason from Friday the 13th. Something that's just like, you see the picture of this person, at least at the time, that was like a unique thing. Someone wearing a hockey mask and a machete. Something that's like, that is the thing. It's new. It's never really been seen before. It's memorable. If you can come up with characters that are memorable, now a recent good one is Chainsaw Man. There's not much that's seen that looks like, you see Chainsaw Man, you know immediately what it is. You don't have to know anything about that story or nothing. It's just like, it's the title alone, along with that character. It's like, boom. I think you can get a grasp of kind of what you're going to get into just by seeing that. When you can come up with something like that, that's just like internationally understood with 1 second of looking at it, with a title and a memorable character, you're done. Like, you've done a major portion of what it takes to become a hit right there, if you can come up with something that's like that, that's really interesting. The third thing that I'm going to go into is basically like high concept, hit story structure, and I have a whole nother video that goes into this, in that as long as you can write something that has some kind of emotional draw, to where if we keep coming back because it's pulling our emotional strings, and we're going through the emotional cocktail of rising and falling, it pulls so much out of us, or like it makes you feel empathetic towards a character to win or take revenge or whatever that is, to where we just want to keep following that story or fall in love or whatever it is. That is a key aspect. It's an emotional draw, and this is explained through a lot of books can go into how this is done. There's a science to it. It's when you're reading something that makes you feel sorry for someone or makes your blood boil and hate someone. Those feelings are like release endorphins in us that keep us addicted, just like drugs. And so we're addicted to the story. So this the whole point of the like high concept and hit story structure is that it keeps the reader addicted to the story. So if you have a memorable character, your story is addictive, and you're writing for a huge market that's not just comic readers, but something bigger than that, you're gonna hit. You're gonna do well. I hope I explained that well enough. I will probably make another video that breaks down those three things in more detail, but I hope this was helpful for anybody. If so, please like and subscribe so I can try to continue growing my community and continue to sell my own books. Thanks. See ya.